So let's just talk about cleaning paintbrushes, and this is for the younger modelers who are perhaps new to the hobby. When you're doing lots of painting and you're changing brushes and you're busy, then just giving your brush a swirl around in some water is a good way of keeping the worst of the paint off. I wouldn't leave your brush in the bottle like that, because what will happen, particularly over time, is your bristles will bend and you'll deform the shape of the brush. So we don't want to do that. So we can then wipe it on some tissue paper. And if you do that several times, you can get most of it off, but you won't have cleaned your brush thoroughly. So it's important that you clean your brush thoroughly at some point. So we've just done some painting with this and we've got the worst off, but we can see there's still paint on there. So what we really need to do is to clean the brush a bit more thoroughly. So as we've used acrylic paints for this, if we'd used enamels, we'd use white spirit for this process and we'd keep repeating it until this was clean. You can get some white spirits and rub it into the bristles as well. We'll get rid of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a dab of washing up liquid onto the bristles and just massage it into the brush like so, and you'll see the paint's lifting off anyway. And then a little bit of water, keep massaging it in. So as you can, what you don't want to do is break the direction of the bristles and have them all spray out. So I'm pushing from the bottom up, trying to push the paint out. Now what happens is your paint builds up here at the end, and that goes hard and it makes your bristles spray out like that. So it's important that we get it out from the end here. It's also important when your brush dries that you don't have it stood up like that, that you leave it flat or you suspend it upside down. Okay. So most of the time, that will have cleaned your brush adequately for you to keep painting. Now this is an old brush and it's a little bit worn, but there's something more we can do, because actually that's not perfectly clean. And perhaps once a week I will do this with brushes that I've used. And even if, let me get this one, brush has gone hard. You can see this has gone hard. So this is one of my daughter's brushes. She didn't clean it properly and that's now gone hard. And you'd struggle to use that again. You can see the bristles don't want to behave properly. You see? So what I use is this stuff here, which is called the Master's Brush Cleaner, which is an artist's brush cleaning soap effectively. So it has a slight lemony smell to it, and this will clean up acrylic and enamel brushes even if they're rock hard. So I'm just going to show you, now we've cleaned this in the tap with some washing up liquid, how much paint is still on this. So if I get this wet and give it a rub in the soap, you can see there that we've still got paint on that brush. So all we're going to do is work the soap into the bristles like so. And we're just going to leave it a minute on the brush. And whilst get that paint out, whilst that's drying, we'll have a look at this hard brush. So same process, we're just going to get the bristles a bit damp and rub it into the soap, and you can see immediately it's starting to lift out some of that paint, and what you're getting is lots of flecks of dried paint in the brush. So So same process, we're just massaging that soap into the bristles, and immediately you can see it's having an effect. So I've now no longer got a hard brush, and that brush has been on the window ledge there for 4 or 5 days. So we're just going to leave that leave it on the bristles for a moment just to keep working, and we'll take this one now and we'll rinse that off, and we'll take it back to the soap. We can see we've still got paint on it, so I'm going to go through that process again, just working it into the bristles, making sure that we've got it right down to the bottom. So I am pressing on a little bit, but don't worry about that because we will reshape the bristles at the end of the process. There we go. And you might have to do this 3, maybe 4 times depending on how heavily soiled the brush is. And you know, sometimes I've done this with my daughter's brushes, and you know, they've been painting blue, and then as you're cleaning it, red comes out and yellow comes out because they never cleaned the brush properly the previous couple of times. Right, so you can see now this is the 3rd time and I've still got paint really at the bottom of the brush. So I'm going to massage that in again. I'm just going to leave that for a minute. We'll go back to our hard brush and see how that's getting on. So I'm going to give that a rinse. So you can see here now, after using that soap just once, that those bristles are much softer and it's behaving like a brush again. So just clean the top of the soap. We don't want to put paint back onto the brush. And take the damp bristles and just give them a rub in that soap, and again we can see more dry paint coming out. The paint that was on this was a semi-gloss life colour paint that my daughter was using on tyres for her Spitfire. So just working the bristles now to make sure that we've got the soap well worked all the way in. And I'm just running my nail through there, making sure any clumps of dried paint have been taken out. I'll give that another rinse now. I'm going to dry the brush off. Okay, let's put that back in the soap, see where we're up to. Right, so I've now got no paint coming off. So, just rub that on the soap, and what I'm going to do with wet fingers is just shape the bristles back how I want them. So to do that, I'm just running it through my fingers and twisting the brush. And there we have it. So that was bristles that had gone rock hard, paintbrush wasn't usable. We've now restored the bristles and restored the shape of the brush, and what we'll do when we come to use that is we'll just give it a quick rinse off, because the soap will dry in there a little bit, but that's what I want to do. And then that's ready to go again, and we've saved the brush. So I'll have a quick look at this one now. I'll give that a quick rinse. Clean the top of my soap. Yeah, and that's run without paint now. So as I clean it on my hand, you can see there's no paint in that soap at all. and that's a nice thoroughly clean brush. So we'll just shake that. There you have it. That brush is totally clean, that brush is restored and totally clean. So the product that I use, just as a reminder, is the Masters Brush Cleaner. Shop around for it because there's a wide difference in prices and a wide difference in pot sizes. So, but you will find it in online art shops. Okay.